Orwellian blues. How to keep it simple. But if thought corrupts language, language can also corrupt thought. All language, written, spoken, unspoken, thoughts, insinuated, cryptic, ideas, concepts, ideals, social constructs, mind, intelligence, cognition, truth. Is there any? The letter soup is ready, if only. The meaning can't be grasped. All translators' tools are on strike. Abstraction in the form of images and storytelling. The fantastic and the surreal have become reality. Digesting the hopelessness landscape. Everything inside an orb, the fake illusion that Big Brother will take care of your UBI. Universal basic income. Find out for yourself, as I won't give Sam Altman any free shoutouts. Dystopian awakenings. Yeah. This week, even if one has been calm, touching the grass, grounded in breathwork, even so, the universe reveals a couple of challenges. Fear can resurface. Is it true, Monika? What? The fear? Or not knowing what is next? Both? What? Grounding in breath while challenges arise. Health concern strikes a loved one. Securities may change course. Dystopian news. EVERYWHERE. Everywhere. Perhaps a lunatic was simply a minority of one. Lunacy prevails and all of a sudden everyone is Sinead. Oh, please give me a break. One thing is for sure, that the 2010s give space to an organic increase in disassociation and desensitization, meaning without sensitivity. Everyone's message is reduced to one post in selfie mode, including myself, showing how messed up our culture has become, as if pronouncing her beauty, talent, and defiance was going to ease her deepest pains. The trauma we are living as a collective is not allowing us to see through. It has no boundaries, and it has permeated all the pores of hope. It seems to be expanding at a rate very challenging to contain it. So will it explode? MAYBE. Maybe. There's an image that I intervened with cryptic images of current X events. You have to see it. Energy must be transformed when stagnated. Energy finds ways to be released from a broken flow. At the edges of our lives, we find discomfort and then something snaps. A resolution. It's another image. It says, identity is property and privacy is freedom. There's an X and it says, identity shifts. We must embrace struggle. Every living thing conforms to it. Everything in nature grows and struggles in its own way, establishing its own identity, insisting on it at all cost, against all resistance. Rainer Maria Rilke, Letters to a Young Poet. Mother. There's a video of Sinead O'Connor singing Roger Waters' Mother, The Wall, live in Berlin. I believe it was 1991. The Twilight Zone. Why aren't we supporting others before they die? Because we can't. The culture of self-hustling requires many hours in practice of detachment, self-inquiry, and healing. The program was set a long time ago and is quite a journey to detect what is real, as in not that crazy, and what is conspiracy theory. Oh, mother, mommy, some news has hit me hard. All I need is space for prayer and the intention of offering my day and actions to the better of humankind. Mother leads to the wall, Pink Floyd, Orwell's 1984, Black Mirror. Corruption, addictions, trauma, all in one. We're all bleeding in our hearts, and it is not getting better. Hush, hush, lullaby time. Quote, no matter how you feel about Black Mirror, and opinions tend to cluster at opposite extremes of the spectrum, you have to admit it's a brilliant title. As creator Charlie Brooker wrote when the series premiered on Channel 4 in 2011, the Black Mirror of the title is the one you'll find on every wall, on every desk, in the palm of the hand, the cold, shiny screen of a TV, a monitor, a smartphone. You stare into it expecting to see yourself and find only an abyss that might be your reflection filtered through technology. Our screens, dark and blank, ourselves the same. By Judy Berman, June 16, 2023. There's a link to that article. An image by Roger Waters from Pink Floyd. It says, Mother, the wall. The next brick in Pink's wall is that of a mother who tries to compensate for the absence of the father by smothering her child with love and protectiveness. This is a portion of the narrative that is not strictly based on the author's own experience, but rather more general observations. Pink Floyd Music Publishers Limited, 1979. These are the lyrics of that song, partial. Mother, you think they'll drop the bomb? Mother, do you think they'll like the song? Mother, do you think they'd try to break my balls? Mother, should I build a wall? Mother, should I run for president? Mother, should I trust the government? Mother, will they put me in a firing line? It's just a waste of time. Hush now, baby, don't you cry. Mama's gonna make all your nightmares come true. Mama's gonna put all of her fears into you. Mama's gonna keep you right here under her wing. She won't let you fly, but she might let you sing. Mama will keep baby cozy and warm. Pink Floyd, 1979. In memory of Shinette, 1966, 2023. We all have failed you, as we are all failing to treat trauma in a compassionate way. And there's an image of the Twilight Zone. The caption reads, there is a fifth dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and superstition, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination, and it is an area we call the Twilight Zone. I grew up with this, so I also place a link of the sound of the first seconds of the series. I leave you a link with the YouTube vote. The cynics believe that it is through nature that one can live well and not through conventional means such as etiquette or religion. Diogenes studied philosophy under Antisthenes, a crusty type who hated students, emphasized self-knowledge, discipline, and restraint, and held forth a gymnasium named the Silver Hound in the old garden district outside the city. It was open to foreigners and lower classes, and thus to Diogenes. Wits of the time made a joke of its name, calling its members stray dogs, hence cynic, dog-like, a label that Diogenes made into literal fact, living with a pack of stray dogs, homeless except for a tub in which he slept. He was the Athenian Thoreau. Guy Davenport, 7 Greeks. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Everything we're witnessing now did not just happen overnight. Observing time cycles is a passion of mine, and so is finding repeating themes and patterns. Some months ago, I drafted a chart on the metamorphosis that the planet Pluto brings. There's a link there. The fourth turning is here. What the seasons of history tell us about how and when this crisis will end. The latest book by Neil Howe just dropped. This is a follow-up on The Fourth Turning, an American prophecy, what the cycles of history tell us about America's next rendezvous with destiny. In 1981, the authors and sociologists William Strauss and Neil Howe published Generations, updated in 1987 with the title The Fourth Turning, where they argue the idea of generational theory, the notion that there were distinct cohorts throughout history that share characteristics and values. In evolutionary astrology, these distinctions are measured through Pluto through the signs. In the 20th century, Pluto traveled from Gemini to half of Sagittarius, and during this century, it entered Capricorn in 2008 and is about to enter fully into Aquarius on 2024 and is going to last there for 20 years. The good news, we're right on track. Ra Uru from Human Design spoke about the end of the cross of planning and the rise of the sleeping phoenix by 2027. I've written enough about it, so I put a link of an earlier article. All institutions will break down and fail. We're realizing that individuating is a path of liberation. And once the steps are taken, sovereign individuals will resonate into communities ready to rebuild, and Phoenix will be born. Then I took a screenshot from a video I put there about the fourth turning with diagrams. And so it says history blocks, 80 years. Turnings, 20 years, 20 years, 20 years, 20 years. So I added at the bottom, Uranus cycle around the Earth takes 84 years. So that's 12 times 7. Neptune takes 165 years. That's 2 times 84. So that's 2 times Uranus. Then Jupiter, which lasts 12 years around the Sun, and Saturn, 28 around, a little bit more or less. They meet together every 20 years at the beginning of each decade. So think the 20s, the 40s, the 60s, the 80s, the 2000s, the 2020s, and the 2040s. So you can see that the cycles of human life, they are divisible by like 3 times 28. You can live this 3 times, it's almost 90. Or you could leave 12 times 7, which is 84. There's a link to the video, and then I say in the image, I can add that these cycles are beautifully matched by the planets. Coincidence? No. In fact, astronomy is a measure and a validation tool. Quote, not only do individuals have predictable life stages, but so do cultures and nations, so do societies. The span of what the Romans called a saeculum is the length of one long human life, meaning from 80 to 100 years. During this time, there are 4 predictable cycles and 4 turnings. They correspond to the seasons of the year: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. The 4th turning is the winter, a time of convulsion and crisis, out of which spring emerges. We are in the middle of the 4th turning now, and there is no turning around and going back. We have to go through it. Now, this current crisis is happening to a secular order. The wheels are coming off the pharaoh's chariots, not ours. Our secular sages and pundits have all collectively lost their minds. And this has happened to them not because they valued civic freedom so much, but rather because they sought to make godlessness the foundation of a civic freedoms. The 4th turning and the future of reform leadership, posted on Wednesday, July 26 by Douglas Wilson. There's a link there. Then there's the video. It's called Crisis by Van Nistad, and he's making beautiful drawings about the 4th turning, what it means. Almost every anchor man and anchor woman has that specialization. I was going to write about Salm Altman's and Elon's human design and astrology charts, both having been reoriented along with humanity exactly a year ago, with the conjunction of Mars, Uranus, and the North Node at 18 degrees of Taurus, gate 2. There's a link to an article I wrote about a year ago. Their charts were lit and resonated with the current events and those that lead to now. I do not have enough energy today to give these 2 vessels the attention, since they're already managing the current mutation of the universe with their egoic nature. I need the energy for healing my heart, my tribe, and to keep my 43rd day inside the cave free from destruction. One thing is for sure, Pluto squaring the nodal axis this week is making the channel of mutation, 63, forever the centerpiece of how history is rewritten over and over. The resolution node is on the Libra side, so hurry up and do the Venus work. What are your needs? Blah, blah, blah. Again, a link to an article I wrote, I think it was a week ago. Do you know what is happening? No one does. So be mindful of how you feed your mind, how you react instead of responding, and mostly how you make hasty decisions that are against your own geometry. At times like now, it is about caring for what is absolutely necessary and letting go of the rest. Full moon in Aquarius on the 1st of the month. At 9 degrees Aquarius, the Sun, gate 33, line 2, and the Earth and Moon on gate 19, line 2. The wise recognition that surrendering to superior forces until one's own strength can be displayed could lay the foundation for future success grounded in service, as personal resources are made available out of the wish to be of use in meeting the needs of the community. 1 year exactly in the same gates where the triple conjunction occurred, I can't make this thing up. There's a link to last year. These 4 gates, with gate 44 and gate 24 belonging to the incarnation cross of the 4 ways, represent the coming together of 4 energies that each have a voice in where we, humanity, might be heading. Evolution is written as each gate has a way for us as humans to go through. The T-square between the Sun, the Moon, and Jupiter is quite fun. The Sun wants to enjoy the playground and the Moon is observing the acceleration with detachment. Yet, Jupiter signals either slow down attention to what is essential for prosperous times ahead or a change of course as Venus rules this Jupiter in Taurus. Watch where you can be indulgent and too comfortable and take some distance. Jupiter and Mars form a beautiful trine, addressing with attention how to gain some good habits and fulfill an auspicious direction. Saturn retrograde goes back to gate 55, line 6. Material wealth and individual spirit are depending on each other with responsibility. But if there was hope, it lay in the proles. You have to cling on to that. When you put it into words, it sounded reasonable. It was when you look at the human beings passing you on the pavement that it became an act of faith. George Orwell, 1984. Last thought or words for the weekend. Mercury is entering Virgo, a sign he rules, and it is on a yacht configuration, finger of God, composed of 250 angles with Pluto and Neptune that form a supporting sextile, 60 degrees between them. Some forces that are fated and out of our hands. Can one discern carefully the inner chatter from the outer noise by dissolving the past, leading to forgiveness, merging with what cannot be controlled, so a metamorphosis can emerge without too much resistance and tissue damage? We got the memo. The focus is on individual small steps with a deep intention in the greater whole. Deeds, routines, healthy habits, healthy food intake, so on and so forth. The vibrations of healing sound can be felt as silent whispers too. On Saturday, I'm starting a 10-session sacred geometry course with a geometer. I am psyched at finding more connections emerging between the geometry of nature and my own design. Ponderings. I shall divide the 43-day Venus retrograde period into 3. First period, inner reconnection, asking myself and making list of what is really needed for the next 3 years, dividing them into periods too. Second period, a reflection on how these needs can be of value to me and thus impact our environment. Period 3, my practice leads to a concrete form, so planning its success or fulfillment with our most care by already feeling it is here now. And during the whole time process, enjoying being alive. I have been dancing to this tune. Then there's a link to Andrew Bird's Festivus. Quite amazing. You should listen and dance. What are the steps you're taking? Last quote. Talking to her, he realized how easy it was to present an appearance of orthodoxy while having no grasp whatever of what orthodoxy meant. In a way, the worldview of the party imposed itself most successfully on people incapable of understanding it. They could be made to accept the most flagrant violations of reality, because they never fully grasped the enormity of what was demanded of them, and were not sufficiently interested in public events to notice what was happening. By lack of understanding, they remained sane. They simply swallowed everything, and what they swallowed did for them no harm, because it left no residue behind, just as a grain of corn will pass undigested through the body of a bird. Some headings in this article and quotes belong to George Orwell's seminal work, 1984. I'm going to read the rest of the footnotes just in case. Uranus and Neptune changed signs around April 2011. Uranus is the acceleration of technology. In the sign of Aries is all about individuality. Neptune dissolves boundaries, and it's its own sign of Pisces. We have now seen the rapid acceleration and decay of all institutions that held together social constructs. It also rules addiction or not being willing to see things for what they are. Thus, social media contribute to reshaping the chaos. The next footnote is a definition from not being sensitive enough, so I'm not going to read it. Number 4, it says Howard and William Strauss published The Fourth Turning, which described a fourth generational cycle of renewal, stabilization, decline, and crisis in Anglo-American history. Each generational turning takes about 20 years, so a complete cycle takes roughly 80 years. Number 5, Sam Altman, also known as the ChatGPT guy, AI, WorldCoin, and Elon, as in Tesla, Twitter, X, Starlink, Neuralink, PayPal, etc., you name it. These two fellows are separately offering you the possibility to deprive yourself of your identity, which is your most cherished property. Altman had his second nodal return on August 1st, 2022, as his north node is exactly at 18 degrees of Taurus, gate 2, which is the direction also the seat of the magnetic monopole. It only attracts and never repels, like a seed, which knows that with the help of sunlight and water, it will one day become an oak. Gate 2 knows about the direction into which the resources of Gate 14 want to be steered. It is the female guiding power that stems from the deep receptiveness to higher knowledge. Are we in good hands? Elon also has the Gate 14, and last year with the triple conjunction, it got ignited, having Mars there in the North Node and Uranus. Number 6. Gate 24, the return, an individual gate, rationalizing over and over, looking at something repeatedly, coming to a deeper understanding. Gate 33 is a manifesting gate, a collective sensing circuit. It carries the story of our own experience. It is also directing to keep secrets, manifesting privacy. Not all of our experiences should be shared. Gate 44 is about what we need to do to preserve ourselves towards thriving, taking notice of who is in our fractal. It is rooted in fear of the past, and it has the talent to smell when something is off. Gate 19, sensitivity. As we as a tribe approach living in a spiritual beings together, we need to be sensitive to how we live physically. Okay, my friends, it's the end of the line. I hope you have a great full moon. I hope you don't allow the craziness out there to, I don't know, kill your sense of joy, even if you have sad news like I've had this week. I'll share more perhaps another day, but I'm holding space for myself. So be good. Bye-bye.